Most people at one time or another would like to think that they have superpowers. Well, here at the Chicago Flyhouse, you really believe it.
Ever wonder how people fly in the air without falling, or seem to have superhuman strength? The team at the Chicago Flyhouse in the West Loop has figured out how to suspend people in the air and allow them to do just about anything.
When you see a performer flying in a production, you know that person isn't really flying, you know they're being suspended in the air by some sort of wire. But the less you become aware of that, the better we did our job.
Chicago Flyhouse owner Mark Witteveen has made countless performers appear weightless in dozens of theaters throughout Chicago. For 10 years, Mark's mission has been to suspend anything, from people to video screens to curtains in the air.
We're really one of the unique companies that's specific to Chicago and capable of solving all types of challenges.
Mark started the business in 1998 when he realized that local theater companies had nowhere to go in the Midwest when they needed help installing curtains and hanging scenery and lights for their productions. The business expanded to include rigging and moving just about anything. For example, the Apollo module at the Adler Planetarium and this athletic fellow for the Body Worlds exhibit held at the Field Museum. He's the guy people call for grand openings when they need a curtain lifted, like the Sofitel when he lifted a 4,000 square foot purple curtain to reveal the new building.
We are on the cutting edge. We are always pushing ourselves. The reason most of us are in this business is because it's hard, it's challenging, and it's new every time. I've never made the same thing twice.
Every project is different, but the one challenge overall is to figure out how to keep everyone safe in the process.
Anytime something's suspended over the air, it has the threat to hurt somebody if it falls. So we have to ensure that our equipment and our structure that we're attaching to can support this weight with safety factors built in.
Mark's true love, though, is suspending people, and he's completed some pretty impressive projects here in Chicago. During the grand opening of Millennium Park, the Chicago Flyhouse was asked to provide the rigging for 7 performers who were suspended by silk on the trellis over the Great Lawn. Chicago artist Carrie Skarbacka came to Mark so he could capture himself falling off of the Museum of Contemporary Art without getting hurt.
He does these falling photographs, and we were able to drop him, reset the scene, drop him again and again and again until he was really satisfied with the photographs he got.
Mark was also called in to fly basketball player Yao Ming in a Gatorade commercial that was shot here in Chicago.
He's a very tall person, and so here we are putting him in a harness, and this person standing at 7'6" tall with his armpit up here above my head. It created a unique situation. We're dealing with a very heavy individual, someone that's center of gravity is different than a typical person, and it really offered some fun challenges, but it was exciting too.
His most recent and very publicized project is creating the rigging for the Wine Angel in the Texas de Brazil restaurant in River North.
This aerialist can fly up and down 30 feet in the wine rack and 40 feet, which is the width of the wine rack, back and forth. But they have a handheld controller, and they can simply run themselves wherever they want. They can hang upside down, they can face the customers, they can face the wine rack, and they can really do anything in that motion.
Aside from lifting people, Mark also likes to lift spirits. Once a year, he gives a $10,000 grant to local theater and performing arts companies who wouldn't otherwise have the funds for his rigging services.
We felt it was our responsibility to take, to give back to the city that really made everything for us happen, and still to this day is, and provide those small theater companies with this service.
We wanted to see exactly how this flying people around business works. At Mark's shop, potential clients can check out and practice on the system he's created for flying called the Zip Lift.
This particular hoist can fly someone up to 600 feet per minute, so 10 feet per second, just simply by a controller. So an operator is able to move a person just fluidly through this air. It's really no different than any video game you play. The joystick is fully variable speed. I can raise Tommy at any speed. They're slow or very fast.
So if you really wanted to mess around with Tommy right now, you could though, right?
Yep, Tommy owes me a little bit of money, and so we could happily stick him up in the air, and he can stay up there for pretty much as long as I want.
Bye, Tommy. We'll see you later. Just kidding. We'll lay you down.
Mark says the key to a successful aerial performance using one of his zip lift systems is the relationship between the controller and the performer. They have to be perfectly in sync, which does take a lot of practice. He gave us a demonstration of some of the moves that were used in an 8-minute fighting scene in the House Theater's performance of The Curse of the Crying Heart. The fight scene was very similar to the one in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
So he's gonna run in a circle, and as he runs, I'm gonna lift him, and he can do a big flying thing. And you can also bring him right back down. He can land on the ground, and then he can swing straight across too. And he can also do a back flip. As I take him in the air, he's gonna flip backwards to make it look like he's literally jumped through the air.
Oh my God.
Now with that, you can incorporate kicking and punching and another person in there, and suddenly it becomes this really dynamic effect, all from just a single point rig. So it's really exciting what you can do.
After a few rounds of tricks, Mark offers to let me give it a go. I get harnessed into what feels like a tight girdle, but I do feel secure.
So I'm gonna ignore all of my instincts to hold on to something as I'm lifted up in the air.
Exactly, because you're good and secure in your very stable harness.
Okay.
I'm lifted up 4 feet in the air and I'm told to look back and tuck my knees into my chest. Oh, not so much. But by the second try, I got it down.
Okay, that was pretty easy. Or were you helping me?
I was not helping you. That
You
was
weren't?
all you.
Okay, so the average person, you can do this.
Absolutely.
Then I was up for something a little more challenging, so Tom suggested I try the illusion of jumping in the air like Yao Ming.
When people are first learning to fly, when you bring them down, they don't want to use their legs to land, and they'll go like, oh, I actually have to stand up.
Right, well you do. You feel like
And
you're
you feel like you're
flying.
flying.
Okay, so that's what he was talking about. I try again and gain some respect for the art of aerial flying. I do redeem myself, however, by getting it down, finally. So although flying definitely isn't natural for human beings, the Chicago Flyhouse at least makes it look like it is, and for a little while, we believe that yes, we do have superpowers.